Hello and welcome to a commentary.
Oh my gosh, it's a commentary with both of us.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, this scene.
Guys, I'm a pretty
Yeah,
fan of
I
yours,
like this
and I
scene.
just noticed
It's
that you
entertaining.
haven't reviewed
Yeah.
any
Now the
RPG
great
yet.
thing is that the porch there is only about a foot on either side of that door. So all three actors we have here are actually standing on either side of this doorway, waiting for their cues. We're talking just loud enough that they can hear through it. Oh,
Yeah, that's my brother. He's pretty awesome. Also, if you get the reference that he's trying to do, then you get props. So, mad props to all three of you.
that's
There you
like
go.
a million internets. Oh, and this part coming up. We ran through this once and then we started filming. The first time through, we were both terrified.
Like, genuinely terrified. We knew he was gonna do this, and we were still terrified. This was still genuinely terrifying. Like, I am there, barricading that door in the hopes of not dying.
Alright, now this scene is what the entire episode was based around. This shot right here of just piling all the books, one after another, on top of this table.
Yeah, the sad thing is that this isn't even all the books that we had access to. Like, if we had wanted to keep going, we could have kept going. But what it came down to was the table could only hold so many books. So we had to actually trim a number of them and just go with the most iconic or interesting sounding that we could find.
I enjoy the fact that actually neither of us can really move at this point because my feet are on either side of the books, your feet are on either side of the books. They're just everywhere right there. I was a little disappointed at first that you could see the books on the edge of the table on the left-hand side there, but it turned out well. It really did.
Yeah, and with all of the movement distracting everything, you really don't notice until I suddenly pull it up and, it's a footstool. But it's not. It's books.
Oh, thanks again to Merle for letting us use a lot of these books. A lot of these are his old mid-90s, early 2000s role-playing books, and then some of them are the rest of ours. We don't have quite as many different games as he did.
Yeah, he's kind of an even bigger nerd than we are. Oh, you can totally see him in our first episode. He's the rules lawyer. And he is a rules lawyer, to be fair. Like, lawyering rules. It's what he does.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, what is
And
this?
yeah, that straining there, those really are heavy. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
I nearly hurt myself. I didn't hurt myself, but I nearly did.
This scene is another one of those famous one shot, one take scenes. Ah, stop looking at the camera. We were really bad early on about looking at the camera, so we actually incorporated it in to the episodes later.
Yeah, breaking the fourth wall. It's kind of what we do, along with traveling through time.
Now, the reason that this is split back and forth between the two shots is because I couldn't actually read them all fast enough and without stuttering and stopping to get one good take. Ah, the long take.
Yeah, I think it came out rather well. And the greatest part about this is this was just kind of an off-the-wall idea that we had, and then we keep going back to it because it's such a good gimmick.
Yeah, we're just going on and on. I'll throw out something, he'll finish it. He'll throw out an idea, I'll finish it. It's, yeah, basic theater, but
Yeah, it's back and forth, and it seems to work because, spoiler alert, our shows are kind of improv. And by kind of, I mean we had a script for one episode, and we never managed to put that episode out. So, yeah.
This was.
and this is the first appearance of the Toaster Time Machine, the MacGuffin / Deus Ex Machina of ours.
Yeah, I rather like it. And to be fair, that toaster still does work, and is sitting in my kitchen. Right now, actually.
I love the fact that I came to you and went, okay, do you have a random grouping of parts we could use as a time machine? I've got this idea for an episode.
And I said, yeah, of course, hang on a second. And like 5 minutes later, I had all those parts.
Yeah, and the keyboards there, we still use that joke about the keyboard not working. Yeah, ha, 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 ha.
It works intermittently, as, plot contrivances allow.
Yeah, and of course the NES controller. That's still a very good thing. I love how we look at the things like they actually have a display.
Yeah, seriously, like, I'm staring at the NES controller as though it is telling me information. Like, behold, NES controller, your tiny blue LED screen that suddenly appears out of nowhere every time I look at you. It will tell me things. Also, let me snort this other line of cocaine so I can see the purple elephants, too.
And the joke here about the different time machines. I'm a big sci-fi nerd, and I wanted to make some sort of joke about that. And here's the Doctor Who theme. Ooh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, but all of the different time machine ideas just... Yeah, I like sci-fi. Well, we're 5 minutes in. We should probably get talking about the actual episode itself, the idea behind it.
Nah, it's not important. Commentaries are just people talking and getting paid attention to despite the fact they don't know what they're talking about. Everyone knows that.
And speaking of not knowing what we're talking about, segue. Okay, so... Oh,
Okay,
The black and
seriously,
white.
black and white. Like, which of us came up with that again?
I don't know. It was a stupid little joke. It works, though. Now, the plopping in little thing that we do, the toaster sound effect and we drop in. My ex-girlfriend actually went, "How do you guys do that? How do you do that?" And I showed her how we did that, and she went, "It can't be that simple." Yep, it is. We actually use a real time machine and we drop into through time.
Yeah, it's that simple. Like that toaster, it's an actual time machine. And also it makes toast. Yeah, we sort of, bluffed on that whole thing about it not being able to make toast. But no one believes that a toaster time machine can make toast and be a time machine. That's just silly.
Now, the idea for this episode, going through time and reviewing RPGs from the past, we knew a decent amount about RPGs, but in our research, we found out so much more. Oh, this story, yeah,
it's really sad and everything. And one of the saddest parts for me personally is I have actually seen the movie that we talk about in this part. Like, that is one of the saddest parts for me. I understand that a young man died by suicide and everything, but this is a terrible, terrible movie, and I want that time back. I just want it back. And it's just sad all around, and that just adds so much more tragedy to the entire thing.
Now, this is your joke, the ampersand joke. I like that. Was the ampersand just invented and is it considered fashionable? Yes, it is. Moving on.
That's really what it came down to, though. Like, just like we're saying, they're like, oh my gosh, we have to copy absolutely everything they do. Everything they do. Also, on a side note, Bunnies and Bros is a really good game. We'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. Now, the great thing about this is that we couldn't use just the living room at this point. We needed different shots in different places to signify different points in time. So that was your other living room. This is my mother's basement. There was a lot of water damage and everything got torn up. And so there's just this framework of couches down there. And so we decided to go and film this down there.
Yeah, it ended up working out really well, because we needed some signifier, and the radio coming up actually just happened to be sitting right next to us. And so he said, well, we'll just take and play some music from that time period and everything. But we didn't realize at the time what music we could play.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And so that happened. So yeah, we thought it came out pretty well.
Yeah. Now, my biggest complaint about this episode is I think it's just list. We list so many different games, and at the time I felt that was all we did in this episode. Ah, yes, another one of our little flubs. You said you said printout or something. I said something else.
Yeah. Well, we got better about that later. So we're sorry. We aren't as professional as we could be. I think no one is surprised.
Yeah, and that piece of paper right there, that really was a bunch of the RPGs that we just found the names of. Some of those I didn't even know existed. What was that? Star Trek, Enterprise role-playing in Star Trek or whatever that was.
Yeah, no, that's the actual name. Like, none of these names are made up. These are real games that happened in real life.
This is also, I think, the point where we started actually giving you wizard powers. Like, you just showed up randomly at my mom's house back when I was still living there in, what was that, The Works?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the one where we actually went, nope, you're a wizard, you actually get powers to do and whatnot.
Yeah, at first I was concerned about people actually realizing that I was a wizard, but I'm more okay with them knowing that I am in real life a wizard than I thought I would be. So it works out okay, I guess.
This is another shot of my mom's house. This is the guest room. That's a really crappy futon there. And to get this shot, I threw myself over backwards. I was getting really tired at this point, so I think we had to do it 4 or 5 times to get the take right.
Yeah, we kind of did, and I think I flubbed the line a couple times just to watch you throw yourself backwards over the futon again. So I'm sorry for that, but it was hilarious. So I'm not as sorry as I could be.
Console gaming and
tabletop games of all kinds.
computer gaming.
Yeah,
Fun.
you know, I'm constantly going up to people and being like, hey, I have this show and it's cool. I review games. And they're like, oh, what kind of games do you review? And I'm like, I review board games and RPGs. And they're like, I don't like those. I'm like, well, what kind of games do you like? Maybe I can review them. And they're like, I like video games. I'm like, I don't do video games. Everyone does video games. Everyone does video games.
And speaking of video games, a new video game costs $60. $60, and you're going to get 12 to 20 hours of play out of that game. You know how much board games cost? $30 to $60. $60 is the high end for really, really big games. Do you know how many hours of play you're going to get out of them? Yeah, about 12 to 20. But people go, oh, no, there's downloadable content for video games. Yeah, I have this expansion box for my board game. It cost me about 15 to 20 bucks. How much did your DLC cost? 15 to 20 bucks. It's really comparable, and I just don't understand why people don't play games anymore.
Well, the main thing is that people don't want boxes and stuff cluttering up their house, but then they have all sorts of other things cluttering up their house. So it's the same thing. And they have their TV sitting in the middle of their room so that it's in the middle of their way, where they could just have board games or a board game table instead. It's the same thing.
This shot, real quick. We were just running out of places to film for this part right here. And this little joke, another thing that came up on the fly, we've been doing it ever since the going back and
before MMOs,
killing me
online
off.
gaming, and the newest
Refilmed this whole opener and
Yeah, this is one of the most quotable lines ever.
screw you, Paradox!
Gosh dang it.
And go out of there. Focus.
Suddenly, there's no longer a wire in the scene.
Shut up, no one's supposed to notice that.
You again?
And Boomstick, once again, playing the level 13 Barbarian.
Yeah. No, he's genuinely terrifying in person. Actually, that's not really true. He's a really nice guy, but when he's chasing you with axes, he's terrifying.
Well, we don't have a lot of time left here, so let's wrap this up. RPG history, great thing. We learned a lot. And yeah, we started a lot of our running jokes here.
Yeah. Cell phone plus toaster equals time machine.
Oh, this shot. We had to film this like 5 times. Anyway, see you guys later. Good night.